Cinema had a lot in common with theater in its early days, but now theatrical is everything you don't want your film to be. And it's a derogatory term for acting that feels exaggerated, dialogue that sounds too eloquent, or lighting that feels staged. So what have modern filmmakers resorted to? Mumbling dialogue, lighting with no contrast, and situations instead of stories with conflict. It's a bad attempt at portraying what people think reality is just because of how it looks and feels. Are films really supposed to feel as close as possible to real life to give you the most immersive cinematic experience? How do you even show reality the way it is? No form of art can do that, because every painting, novel, or film is someone else's interpretation of reality. Some people will resonate with it, while others will call it theatrical. The truth of the human condition can't all be shown in the same way, and some things are too absurd to be shown dramatically. Take Kubrick's Dr. Strangelove. It's not the only film about the risk of nuclear war, and in fact, a much more dramatic movie with the same premise was released that same year, Sidney Lumet's Fail-Safe. But Dr. Strangelove stands out half a century later because it contrasts a desire for reproduction with a drive towards self-destruction.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
There is no better way of highlighting this absurdity than with humor. Even if you take a more naturalistic approach to filmmaking, it's not an unfiltered look at real life. John Cassavetes doesn't show the disintegration of marriage the same way Noah Baumbach does. Both have an approach toward dialogue that almost makes it feel improvised, but still sounds unique. The cinematography of Cassavetes' films is more chaotic, while Baumbach's looks more polished. Both of them put emphasis on different things, depending on how they want to tell their stories. If you just try to show things the way they are in reality, they will be bland. Outside of this YouTube channel, I have a background in animation, so here's a more visual representation to illustrate my point. In animation, there is a technique called rotoscoping, which you might have seen examples of before. Essentially, you film an actor's performance and then trace that footage on paper. The problem with this is that it looks extremely uncanny because it's neither the real person nor a cartoon character. So what you're usually supposed to do as an animator is to exaggerate the movements to make them feel more believable. This is what you see in early Disney films, for example. Sometimes their animators would trace footage of the actors that were filmed, while other times they would study it carefully and then animate everything from scratch. But the key is to always take the movement up a notch, and the same principle applies to storytelling. American novelist Flannery O'Connor gets to the core of what I'm trying to say with this quote. Art is selective, and its truthfulness is the truthfulness of the essential that creates movement. So if you're a filmmaker, how are you going to show the truth that you see in life?